Hey everybody, Dr. Greco here. Welcome to Ministry in a Minute. So, we've been talking about the uns this week, and we stole that from the census information that calls people the nuns religiously. They have none, no affiliation. But I think a better way to look at it is the uns. There are people who are unsaved, but there are people in the church who are unconnected. There are people in the church who are uncontent, and there are people in the church who are unserving, and that's not a word, but they're not serving. The last thing I want to deal with today is people who are unhappy. And I want to make sure I say this. I'm not commenting on mental health in general. I think there are people who struggle with mental health issues, and those things are real, and we need to help them. They need to get help. But I think there's a large percentage of the population that just is unhappy. They feel like the world should revolve around them, and or they have expectations for their life that aren't realistic, that come more from Disney than from the Bible. And in general, they're just unhappy. And the Bible actually comments on that. Now, I don't necessarily buy into so much of the separation between the word happiness and the word joy. The Bible uses the word joy. Happiness sometimes can be temporal and fleeting, and joy is deep-seated. But I think oftentimes in the scriptures, those two concepts are combined. And God does want us to be happy. He doesn't always say it's going to be easy. Sometimes He wants us to find joy in the midst of struggles. But Galatians chapter 5 says that joy is one of the fruits of the Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. Now, the reason I think that's so important when we talk about joy and I talk about people being unhappy as Christians is because what that shows us is that it's supposed to be a byproduct of all of the other things we've talked about this week. Okay? If we are unsaved, if we need to come to know the Lord. And the results of that, at least in part, will be joy. If we're unconnected, we need to get connected. If we're uncontent, we need to make sure we understand that Jesus is the most important thing. If we're unserving, if we're not serving somewhere, we need to plug in. Because doing the things that God says to do leads to the joy. I think we just want to be happy, and we chase happiness. But the Bible says chase God, and He will produce happiness. It's an important concept because it goes to quality of life. And all of us want to enjoy our life. And I would tell you that the more you enjoy God, the more time you spend with Him, the more time you spend serving, the more time you spend with His people, the more joy that will be produced as a byproduct of that. That's how God's plan works. So, you unhappy? Look at your walk with Jesus. That's what'll fix that. It's been a great week talking about all the uns. Hopefully we can undo some of the uns, build up the kingdom. We'll see you next week for more Ministries in a Minute.